All right, hey guys, hope everyone's doing well. So today I just wanted to go over what I put in Discord just about 20 minutes ago, just over the predictions for today, okay? So we'll start off just with what I posted in the weekly outlook for the start of the week, okay? This was the daily chart and this was the hourly chart, and I was talking about how I was monitoring all of these levels, of course, but mainly this previous week's low and this previous day's high, and as liquidity, as draws on liquidity. Well, these were for order flow, just to add some more reference, okay, just to determine and gauge order flow for the week. And then these were my draws on liquidity, either the previous week's high or the previous week's low, and then longer term draws on liquidity here being the August high, August low. Okay, looking for either a market maker buy model with sell side of the curve, buy side of the curve, or buy side of the curve, sell side of the curve, sell side of the curve, buy side of the curve, whatever, right? So moving on, let's go on to what I posted in the Discord, okay, and just break this down real quick. So I said, okay, so at the start of the week, I said we were neutral but anticipating buy side. I was more leaning towards buy side because of Jerome Powell hinting at rate cuts in September, okay? Well, our low hanging fruit buy side objective have been met and have been rejected with the NVIDIA earnings report. If you remember at the start of the week, I said that if we can't get above the previous week's low, then this signals weakness to us. Well, let's look at exactly what happened. Previous week's low had been met, price consolidated at this level, and then NVIDIA earnings at close swept the previous week's high and filled the entire previous week's low, but closed with a large wick and a body closure below the CE, which signals to us a rejection, okay? So a lot of words. What do I mean by this? All right. So this is our previous week's low right here, that if we were bullish, we wanted to see price get above, close above, displace above, come back down, use it as support, and rally above here, all right? But what happened is we met it here, of course, on the Friday. On the Monday, we touched it again. Tuesday, we go into it again. Wednesday, we're hovering around it. We sweep the previous week's high inside of the previous week's low. Okay, so we've got our point of interest, and we've got our liquidity within the point of interest that we want to see swept. Okay, whether we're going long or short, we want to see this previous week's high swept. All right. Now, we consolidated around it. As you can see, we're just consolidating in between these two PD arrays that I mentioned at the start of the week. And then we swept it here, the previous week's high, touching it at the CE of the previous week's low, right here, 2 p.m. on Wednesday, okay? Then at 4 p.m. on the NVIDIA earnings, we sweep this high, again, taking out and properly clearing all these buy stops now. We touch the very high of this previous week's low. At one point, this whole candle was a big black candle, all right? Oh, well, I guess a big green candle, actually. And look what happened, though. The candle closes real bearish, okay? The body closes below the previous week's lows CE, the midpoint, all right? Now, this is a big signal to us, okay? Not just like this alone, you know, doesn't signal anything to us, but the fact that this was the POI that we wanted to see hold resistance on price if we were bearish and price not get above, we reject this liquidity converging with this POI. We do it at a significant time, off a significant news release or earnings report, okay? And we touch the very high, very algorithmic level and reject it, closing below the CE, all right? So this already signals to me, okay, well, this could be heading towards sell side here, all right? So if we go back to Discord here, I said, to add further confirmation to this, we can notice that NQ had an SMT with its previous week's high prior to the most recent week, and this added a much higher probability, adds a much higher probability to seeing a reversal intra-week, all right? So as you can see here, we swept this previous week's high, okay? And this was a clear sweep, but we did not sweep the previous week's before that's high, but ES did, okay? So I believe I got the chart here. We'll just get rid of YM. We've got buy side here, okay? Buy side here. ES sweeps this buy side, the previous week's high. NQ doesn't, okay? Higher high, lower high. Why is this significant? Because we've done all this in here that I mentioned before, okay? This SMT, it adds a lot of conviction to this bearish setup for me because of all the things that I've mentioned before, and this being a confirmation tool, okay? So this alone doesn't do much, but this now confirming all of this after all this setup, you know, it's a chef's kiss on this, that's for sure. So now, what else did I say? So I said, you know, keeping an eye on the intraday template and how price uses the 1 hour order block nested at the previous week's low. All right, so we've got range low to range high, midpoint here. So below this is a discount, above this is a premium. So I'm looking for premium arrays, and I would be looking for this order block. Why am I looking for this order block? Because it also rests above this Asia high right here, which I don't anticipate being the high of the day, as midnight open is here and we've traded lower from midnight open. So I would really want to see something like this and us trade into just intraday, okay? Trade from the midnight open into here, up into this order block, and then distribute here later. All right. And why the order block specifically? Because it's also converging with this whole area of this previous week's low, okay? Specifically the very low of it. All right, it can dig up into there and whatnot, that's fine. It's just these two down up close candles I'm looking at. All right, so now let's look at what else I wrote here. So for the weekly range, if we get a displacement through the previous day's high, then that would indicate a shift to a sell program for the week, and I would anticipate August equal lows to be targeted. So by this, I am simply just stating that if this previous day's high does not hold support on price like it did here, and we close below it, use it, like retrace back into it, use it as resistance, I would anticipate, I would anticipate the August lows to be the draw in liquidity, okay? And this be a sell side of the curve, buy side of the curve, sell side of the curve for, you know, market maker. Sorry, it looks very ugly, but you get the idea. For a market maker sell model, with these being the equal lows and original consolidation. All right. So I also did mention what would invalidate this sell setup today, okay? Because I could easily be wrong here, and what would invalidate it is these order blocks and this CE of this previous week's high being closed above. Okay, so we've got unemployment claims at 8:30. Be careful of that. I'm not going to be touching scouting for this sell setup until after then. But yeah, that is really all, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you found value in that, and I will put updates of this setup in the Discord in real time as the markets trade today. So be sure to check in there in the Joey Analyst channel. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for your time today. Take care. I'll speak to you soon. Ciao.